Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and let's get control of that damn content monster, right? I mean, the content monster is insane. It is never full. It always wants more. It always wants higher quality. And it's never satisfied, which is why I call it that. The content side of having a business now is what gives most people the most stress, the most overwhelm. It can get you guys really stuck. Like, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to talk about. I'm not thinking creatively. My brain is exhausted, so I can't think of anything. I'm not a graphic designer. I don't know how to make those cool infographics you make, Tiffany. I hate having my picture taken. I don't have the money to have some, fancy photo shoot bouncing around Bali with butterflies chasing me. So I'm going to tell you in this episode what you do need to have and teach you how to do the damn thing yourself. Of course, you can hire people to help you manage the content monster, but I like being very realistic. It depends where you're at in your business. I said this in the last episode too. I know how annoying it is when people are like, my team, my social media manager, my assistant, when you are, up against it and you're starting and you really don't have the excess funds or it's far too scary for you to invest in help. I'm very aware of that. Like, I'm someone who cuts coupons, you guys. Like, I have to be careful because I can be a cheap ass sometimes. It's something that my coach will point out to me because a lot of times it's to my own disservice. I can go way too far with it, right? And it's crazy. It's like, you have freaking Chanel sunglasses, Tiffany. Like, you need to hire another person. Like, calm down, right? So I can get stuck in that too. So you don't want to get stuck in it. But I also am very aware of what that's like. Because, this is my second business. I know what it's like to where you need to really manage costs and you have other things going on in your life and bills. And sometimes certain things aren't realistic at the moment. So how to create content your ideal clients will love without you being some professionally trained writer, artist, graphic designer. This can all happen. All right. This can all happen for you. But we need to train that content muscle of yours. So that's what I call it. My content muscle is very well trained. That's why when you guys come to me and you're like, oh, I can't think of what I should name my course or what I should name my group or my company or my freebie, I can pull it out pretty quickly and nail something. And it's just because I have worked and trained that muscle. Just like any other muscle in the body, there's muscle memory also within our brain on doing things. So we all know my muscle memory for math is not good. Now, if I really gave a shit and I wanted to be better at math, I could start working and learning that content muscle. Would I ever be some mathematician or high finance person? No. But would I for sure improve on my math skills? Without a doubt. So improving on your content skills is money. This is a skill that will never go away, whether you're currently, an employee, whether you're an entrepreneur. Content is king. This is something that is said in the corporate side, in the marketing world all the time. I say it in my corporate presentations. Content is king, but now I even say video content is king and written content is queen. I'll even say that too. But regardless, this applies to all content. This is video, this is written, these are graphics, these are sales pages. It's all content. And that's really the catch right now for businesses. It's not like, back in the day, if you build it, they will come, and it's all about, your location and word of mouth and having, advertisements in the local paper. I mean, a lot of that stuff obviously can help, but to stand out in the digital space and to really get that brand visibility, that brand clarity, I don't care what brand you are, you can have hundreds and hundreds of millions in your marketing budget, and you can absolutely fail at this or you can win at this. So I want to teach you how to win at this. So we need to start working that content muscle. Everything starts from your ideal client. You are creating content for your ideal client to capture their attention, to engage with their emotions, to engage with them. This is not for you. It's not like, oh my God, I have a company teaching manifestation, but I really love, embroidery. So I'm going to show videos all the time of me doing my embroidery and, me painting the wall in my house. And, it's okay in things like Instagram stories to obviously, share some of the things like you do and you're into, but that's not really what your ideal client gives a shit about. They want you to help them with whatever problem you're saying that you help them with, and give them insight. And yes, entertain them, evoke emotions in them. So I need you to start working that content muscle by creating a running list. I would prefer you do it in your phone, in your notes app, because your phone's always with you. And you're not going to remember all the stuff that pops in your head. You have to get in the habit of, you're watching something on TV, you're sitting backyard at a barbecue, you're driving your car, now you're at a stoplight, and you have a great idea for something. You need to type that into your notes app so you have a running content list. Ooh, that would be really helpful to teach her blank. So I want you to look at your ideal client. It's a him, it's a her, it's an actual person. This is why I have you name your ideal client. So I'll say to myself, like, what does Sally Sandabs need from me today? What would help Sally Sandabs move the needle in her business? What would help her get out of her head and swirling in her head and being in resistance and being in self-doubt and being in fear? What would help her? What could I share that would help her? And I put it out into the universe. It doesn't always come to me when I'm just sitting here and wanting to write content. So that's something that anyone who is an experienced writer, they know, like, when you want those ideas to come on your own damn time, when you're sitting in front of your computer, they usually don't come. This is why I want you guys to keep a running list. So now it's like, okay, now I need to batch my content. I need to do some videos, some, Instagram or Facebook stories, YouTube video, whatever it is. You can go to this running list that you have and go, oh yeah, I could do that today. So keep putting it out into the universe. I do it every single day. I make it part of my morning routine, right? What does Sally Sandabs really need from me today? And I put it out there, and I trust that I'm going to get a download at some point during the day. And I do. It's never when I'm like rushed, multitasking, being a spaz. It is when I'm floating in the pool, in the bathtub, in the shower. It's when I'm luxuriating. That's when it usually comes up because our brain is in that resting brain spot. That's why I'm all about giving yourself free brain time, even if it's for 10 minutes and you're staring at a wall or something like that, or you're coloring. There's activities that you can do with your kids, because I hear all the moms now going, well, girl, I have, my kids are crazy. Well, there's different types of soothing activities that you can do with your kids, depending on their ages, craft activities, gardening, things like that you can do with them that are also giving your brain that rest time, and things are going to come up. A lot of times when I listen to music, things come up. Before we were in quarantine life, you guys would see me, on Instagram stories a lot of times in the gym parking lot. I would get my best ideas, after a workout or like halfway through. So obviously if I'm in yoga, I don't have my phone, or depending on the class. But if I was in a cycle class, I had my phone in the cup holder, and I had zero shame about it because I didn't want to forget the idea. And I would type it in really quick right while I was on that bike. And I do that now on my Peloton. The same thing happens. So that's one way to work that content muscle. You start seeing everything as a potential lesson, as something that's funny. It's no different than when you're shopping, or when you're scrolling and you see a funny meme, or you see a coffee mug or something, and your best friend's going to die. It's like, oh my God, this is so perfect, right? That's how I need you to see your ideal client. It's that level of a relationship. That's like your best friend. That's your like favorite client, the person you're a cheerleader for, you want the best for, and you have a lot of funny inside jokes, and you have different things of encouragement she needs to hear. I mean, when you care about somebody and someone's close to you, you kind of do check in on them every day. Maybe you don't talk every single day, but maybe you send a text. You at least think about them every day. So that's what you need to do with your ideal client, and the content will come easily. Now, I have to say this. I have this exact line said to me multiple times a day in my DMs from my clients inside the ProjectME posse. Tiffany, none of my posts are getting engagement. No one is liking my stuff. And it's said with kind of feeling discouraged and frustrated, but there's also a little edge of entitlement there. So I got to give you some tough love here. Not everything you touch or create will turn to gold. So we need to give like an expectation reset here. I still have pieces of content that flop. So do all the multi-billion-dollar companies in the world. Remember that Pepsi campaign? I think it was last year that Kendall Jenner did, that they had to pull because it was offensive. They spent millions and millions of dollars on it and had to pull it. There are tons of ads and campaigns with these big medical supplement companies I work with my other company, with physician groups, with pharmaceutical companies that we have to pull because it didn't work, it didn't connect. Maybe it offended someone and it was unintentional even, but it offended someone. Even with things that were like, oh my God, this nailed it. This is freaking amazing. And then it doesn't work. So this is all an experiment, right? Creating content is marketing. Did you hear that? Creating content is marketing. That's why we call ourselves content creators. This is marketing. This is gaining that visibility, building that brand awareness, that brand trust, evoking emotion from your ideal client, these potential customers and current customers. So marketing and advertising, whether it is paid ads or it's organic through content on free platforms, that is all an experiment. So any of you who worked in any form of the advertising or marketing world, for sure you've heard people say, well, what's my ROI? What's my return on investment? What am I going to get out of this? There is no guarantee. All I can tell people is this is what other similar businesses, this is the kind of success they've had. But I always make a point of saying there is no guarantee. We're experimenting, period. And you have to experiment in order to see what works and what doesn't. And when something flops, that's great intel. That's amazing intel. Now you know, okay, this didn't connect. Let's take a look at why. Stop taking it so damn personal and take a look at why didn't it connect. How would you act if you were an employee of your own company and certain pieces of content or no one was engaging with your content, or people weren't really watching your videos or whatever it is, and you weren't the owner and the founder, you were an employee? What kind of conversation would you have with your boss? It would be more, I guess, diplomatic would be a good word. It would be more like, okay, it'd be more factual and less feelings. Let's take a look at why this didn't connect. What could we do to make this connect better? Where did we miss the mark here? Is the image shitty? Is it not scroll stopping? Were we lazy? Were the hashtags bad? Was the caption not hitting home enough? Was this far too complicated? We were trying to teach something complicated in too short of a format. Was it too long? Is it boring? Was the hook line lame? There's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's the color, you guys. We have put out graphics because, if you follow me on any of my social platforms, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, I'm all about teaching visually with a lot of infographics, and I do a lot of original, unique, empowering, text-based graphics. Sometimes it's the color, and we have been so blown away, like, oh my God, that was a really amazing power quote, Tiffany. How did that not land? And, we looked at everything else and everything else was good. And then we reran it, maybe 2 months later in a different color, and it did really well. So color is incredibly important too. So is font. If you're using fonts that are pretty in cursive, but they're not really legible, or it takes someone an extra second to be able to read it, no, it's not going to work. So I want you to have a level reset. It's not a bad thing when things don't connect. First of all, not everything is going to, paid or unpaid stuff. And it allows you to get a better and clearer understanding of what your ideal clients want when you learn what they don't want. Just like you have in a friendship or a love relationship. When you learn what someone doesn't want, for example, I'm not available for dishes in the sink or a full trash bin. Doesn't work for me. I've lived alone for many, many years, and I made sure there weren't dishes in the sink before I went to bed, and I'm not about a full trash bin. That doesn't work for me. So Mike knows that I'm not available for that. I have no problem doing it myself, but if he's saying that's a task that he wants to do, that he is committing to do, that shit better go through, right? So he knows what I'm not available for. That's really important, right? So here is number 2. Digital marketing is a compound effect. So content creation, right, is marketing. That is the key component of digital marketing. So digital marketing is a compound effect. You must build momentum, and everything will grow in time. So if you aren't willing to put in the work up front to get that momentum going and be consistent and be patient and keep showing up and not just like, oh, I've got to get something up there today and slap something together and keep going with it, there is no point in you trying to build a brand, any form of an online brand. Maybe it's the online version of your already existing company. Maybe it's, a 100% online brand. Don't do it. You're going to have a major, major jobby on your hands, an expensive hobby. And then you're going to get frustrated and you're going to say to me, Tiffany, none of my posts are getting engagement. No one is liking my stuff. You have to have it pass the #basic test. So before you post something, when you're creating something, whatever form it is Is this different? Is this unique? Is this speaking and helping in any way, entertaining, enlightening, encouraging, educating my ideal client with something they really want to know and something they really need? Is this really going to captivate their attention? Ask yourself, would I click on this? Would I lean into this? Or would I go, meh, oh, that's okay. And I know you know this because you guys all scroll. So what does it take for you to double tap on something? What does it take for you not just to double tap, but go a step further and comment? What does it take you to go even a step further and comment and then DM or private message somebody? Ask yourself those questions. It's no different than your ideal client. For me to double tap on something, so that's a much easier action than even commenting, right? That's why I place a lot more value on comments, on shares, on saves and DMs than I do double tapping, because there's more work involved. And if someone puts in the more work, that means it touched them more. That means it resonated with them more. So I ask myself, right, for me, that image better be scroll stopping, where there's some kind of energy. If it's a picture of a human, there's some kind of energy, even if it's a stranger. They have a gorgeous background, something about their outfits on point, something about just their radiating pure, genuine energy. Maybe it's a picture of them holding their new baby, or a picture of them holding a dog, and it's just a beautiful image. That could get me to double tap. What usually gets me to comment are when someone does something incredibly funny. It's when it evokes the most emotion, or when I'm like, wow, dang, that was powerful, or wow, mad props to him or her. That infographic really laid it out well. That was really helpful, right? So look at your own behavior. This is the human psychology part of marketing. Marketing is a study in human behavior. And I know a lot of you listening minored in psychology, majored in it, find it fascinating, have read the damn personal growth section of Barnes and Noble. You're into all of that. So now you need to use that in order to create real content that converts. Now, as far as your images go, because you're like, Tiff, I don't want to have a photo shoot. I hate having my picture taken. I don't want to spend the money. Number one, if you are the founder of your brand, you're the face of your brand, you're the person that people are hiring, like my other company, TLC Enterprises. I'm the president. And yes, I am the face in terms of when I go and pitch clients and when they hire me to do sales trainings and things like that. And we do digital campaigns, we do influencer campaigns, that kind of stuff. But they're hiring my firm. They're hiring my agency. So it's not like I don't have to have a whole Tiffany Carter thing all around it. It's just not that important for that particular industry and niche. But for ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, you're hiring me. You're learning from my expertise. You're paying for my courses, my programs. You're signing up for my freebies, joining my membership, learning my proprietary, proven strategies, techniques, formulas, processes in order to move the needle in your business, right? So you need to see my damn face, or why in the hell would you buy from me, right? So I hate having my picture taken, PS. You could follow me with a video camera all day and I'm fine, but I'm like so freaking awkward. I mean, without a doubt, my next shoot I do, I'm having champagne. Like, I have to be buzzed. You ever notice that your best pictures, I mean, I know some of you listening don't drink, but for those of you who do, for like the 90% of you that do, you ever notice some of the best, most carefree favorite pictures of you are ones where you don't know the picture's being taken, or two, you're totally buzzed because you've taken out that weird like rigidity and all your weirdness out of it. So I'm just saying, next time I'm going to have champagne, or I'm going to do something. But I did not like the idea of having to have a photo shoot. It wasn't even the money, because you can find people who are maybe not like top tier photographers, but very solid photographers that aren't that expensive. You don't have to go rent a mansion like I did. You can go out in nature. You can go outside a cafe. You could even, depending on how your house looks, you can do it in your house. There's lots of creative things you can do. But I was like, oh my God, it seems so self-absorbed, and who the hell wants to see a picture of me? But you have to remember, this is a business. And if you are the person that is the teacher behind it, the coach behind it, the service provider behind it, there's got to be pictures of you. So it just has to be done. If you are not in a position where you want to pay to have a photographer, then you need to have a friend, someone who at least knows how to take pictures, take a bunch of pictures of you in different outfits, make sure the shit's on brand. You go to different locations, give that friend a bunch of examples of other people's pictures where you like the pose and the vibe. So it's easier for them and they know what to get. And as long as you're using like not some old iPhone or Android, like you're using a newer phone, those pictures are totally legit and work very well digitally. You go to print them, if you're doing print stuff, they definitely don't look as good. But you're completely safe for those digitally. So don't tell me, oh, I don't have pictures. You can make it happen. You can turn your spouse into like an Instagram wife or husband if you need to. Although it will cause a lot of fights. I'm just saying. I'm like in the Maldives, like yelling across the island, don't just take one picture. Crazy town. So here's the other fun tip. And this will all be inside of my TIFF shop. So I'm creating a shop inside my website so you can buy all of my recommended products, all the stuff that I use for videos, for content creation, for my podcast, my office supplies, books, all that shit's going to all be in there. But I want you can get very, at a very good price. You can get a tripod that comes with a remote that attaches to an app in your phone where you're holding a little tiny remote and you can take your own pictures. So I have clients where most of their pictures, they've gotten very creative with it, are all them taking pictures of themselves. They just get creative where they hide that little remote and they make sure it's well lit and they take their own picture. So I don't want that to be an excuse. Now, as far as content, if you want to do text-based graphics, you want to do some kind of your own quotes, or you want infographics, you guys, you can create these on your own. If you want to hire someone off of Fiverr or Upwork, where you tell them what you want, but they're making it look pretty, that can be very worth your time, especially if you don't enjoy creating, graphics or visual content. I mean, it does nothing for you. Or if it's going to just take you suck hours and hours to do it, where you could pay a virtual assistant who could bang that shit out for you. It's totally worth it. I don't create any of my own graphics at all anymore, and I haven't for quite some time. I actually do kind of find it therapeutic and a creative outlet. Am I amazing at it? No, because I'm not a graphic artist, and I don't have great patience with technology. So it's worth it for me to like share, give people my original quotes, my statements, what I want in there, the subject and the content for the infographics, and then those get created for me. That's very worth it for me. But if you're not at that point and you want to do it yourself, I've put inside the post that goes with today's episode, exactly my favorite apps that we use for creating infographics and content. What I don't want you to do is put up text-based graphics or even your own quotes where they're janky looking, they're not really easy to read, they're not really that attractive. That's not going to work. all of your content, you want it, your goal is for it to be shareable. Your goal is for it to evoke something in that person like, wow, that was powerful. Oh my God, that was so funny. Oh, interesting. Okay, that was a really unique tip I haven't heard before. That was so helpful. If it's not passing those tests, then it didn't pass the basic test and you have to go back to the drawing board. This is how you build that content muscle. Again, even though my content muscle is so strongly built, that does not mean I don't have some posts that flop. I've had posts that flop usually because I'm trying to give you guys, because I'm an overgiver, I try to give you guys too much information in something like in a post, which it's maybe would have been better for me to explain it in a podcast episode or a video. So I'm trying to cram too much in, and then it just kind of overwhelms people. That's usually when my stuff flops. Sometimes though, I have like a really an amazing original power statement that I'm like, there is no way that this is going viral. Like, because I have a pretty good guess now of what goes viral. I'm trying to see if I can find it really quick for you, because I was like, how did that not go viral? There was one really recently. Was it this one? I need to find this because it was like really shocking to me. It's not pulling up right away. Maybe it's this. Oh yeah, it's this one. I put it's done in a graphic. It's a really like cool color purple. There's great contrast. You want contrast in any of your graphic images. So like, it's black on a lavender, and it says, you aren't an entrepreneur if ... You never feel like giving up. You never have epic fails. You never feel scared. You never have massive meltdowns. You never experience imposter syndrome. I was like, this fucking nails it. Because it's going to make my ideal client feel validated. Like, oh my God. So all those things I'm feeling are actually normal. So on and so forth. And it did get a ton of comments, which is great. But it did not get many shares. It did not get many saves. It did not get many conversions to my website or any of my things. And I thought we nailed it. And so even when looking back at it, like, what part of this wasn't nailed? I don't know. I don't have the answer. But for whatever reason, on that given day, it didn't do well. And I still don't know why. So sometimes things just aren't going to do well, even the things you really think that will. And you might not know why. It could be the algorithm that day. It could be one hashtag you use that was shadow banned. I mean, who the hell knows? But some things you just have to let go and move on, right? Everything you touch isn't going to turn to gold. Now, I'm going to give you something to help you with the content monster. We created 90 done-for-you social media graphics. They're sized for Instagram stories, for Pinterest, for LinkedIn, for Twitter, for Facebook, for all the things. And it's at ProjectMeWithTiffany.com/free graphics. ProjectMeWithTiffany.com/free graphics. It's also in the link in my bio inside my Instagram at ProjectMeWithTiffany. I am going to be converting these into a paid download. So you want to grab these while they are free, because I'm not going to keep them free forever. And now you already have some done for you content that are done by professional graphic artists that look nice. You do not have to tag me or anything. You have full permission to use them wherever. And now you have like a head start on having some stuff that at least looks nice. All right. And remember, go and leave a 5-star written iTunes review so that I can donate per each review for the entire month of September, $10 to Children of the Night, one of my primary charities that helps raise awareness for sex trafficking and rescues women, teens, and children off the street, away from their perpetrators and pimps, puts them in safe houses where they can get the medical attention and therapy and nurturing that they need in order to rebuild their lives. and, live the life that they deserve to live, and hopefully prevent them from going back out into the streets again. So there's no cap on it. So feel free to share this with friends. The more reviews, there is no cap. I don't care if there's 300. I'm donating $10 per 5-star written iTunes review. If you don't know how to write a review, Google it. If you don't have an Apple device, you can still write a review. And again, it's just easier to Google it. The steps to do it will come up right away, and you can just get it done. Feel free to put your name or Instagram handle in there. I will be sharing some of these reviews inside my inside my Instagram stories, and I would love to be able to tag you and say thank you for being a part of raising funds for this amazing charity. All right, you guys, wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.